Look, I know what you're thinking. Who takes their kid to Atlantic City in October? But Tommy had been begging for months, ever since his mom moved to Philly with that yoga instructor, and I figured, what the hell? Steel Pier's got rides, the arcade still takes quarters, and the Tropicana does a breakfast buffet that'll wreck your whole day for $17. Besides, I had the weekend off from the lumberyard. First time in 3 months Jerry didn't schedule me, and Tommy's birthday was Tuesday. 11 years old, already too smart for his own good, asking questions I don't have answers for. The Ferris wheel was his idea, not mine. I hate heights, have ever since I fell off a roof in '09 trying to fix some ice damming, broke 3 ribs and my left wrist. But Tommy kept pointing at it, that massive wheel spinning against the gray October sky, lights flickering even though it was only 4 in the afternoon. Just once, Dad, please. Mom never lets me. That last part got me. Of course it did. So there we were, climbing into one of those swinging cages that smell like rust and old cotton candy, me trying not to look at the bolts holding the whole damn thing together. The kid operating it couldn't have been more than 17, wearing a Steel Pier shirt 2 sizes too big, barely glanced at us, just pulled the safety bar down, gave it a half-hearted tug to make sure it latched, and moved on to the next car. Professional responsibility, right? I should have said something, should have checked it myself, but I was too busy trying not to think about how high we were about to go. Tommy pressed his face against the cage bars immediately. You can see everything from up here. Great, I muttered, gripping the safety bar with both hands. My palms were already sweating. Ridiculous. I'm 42 years old. I operate a hydraulic log splitter for a living, and I'm scared of a carnival ride. The wheel lurched forward, lifting us up. 1 rotation. 2. We stopped at the top while they loaded more people below. Tommy was practically vibrating with excitement, pointing at the boardwalk, the ocean, some seagulls fighting over a dropped hot dog. I was trying to focus on my breathing like that therapist Linda made me see after the divorce suggested. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Don't look down. Dad, look at the pier. I looked. Mistake. From up here, you could see the whole length of Steel Pier stretching out into the Atlantic. The arcade was lit up like a Vegas casino, music pumping from speakers I couldn't see. Further down the boardwalk, past the ride section, there was a crowd gathering near one of those fudge shops, the one that always has a line, makes the chocolate peanut butter stuff Tommy likes. Except the crowd looked wrong. Too tight. People pushing instead of queuing. Probably some promotion, I said, mostly to myself. Buy 1 get 1 free or something. Tommy wasn't listening. He was watching the water, talking about how he wanted to learn to surf, how Uncle Rick had promised to teach him next summer. I made non-committal noises, only half paying attention. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Jerry asking if I could cover Monday's early shift. I typed back a quick maybe and pocketed it. Should have left it out. Should have been paying attention. The wheel started moving again, lowering us. As we descended, I noticed the crowd near the fudge shop had gotten bigger and noisier, shouting now, clear even over the carousel music and the screaming from the roller coaster. The kind of shouting that makes your neck prickle. Not angry shouting, scared shouting. Dad, what's going on down there? Don't know, buddy. Probably nothing. Famous last words, right? We passed the bottom. That kid operator was looking toward the commotion now instead of at the controls and started climbing again. 3rd rotation. From this height, I could see people running. Not jogging. Running. Sprinting toward the beach or back toward the casino hotels. Abandoning strollers and shopping bags and half-eaten funnel cakes. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. The wheel groaned to a stop again. We were at the 2 o'clock position, maybe 40 feet up. High enough to see, not high enough to feel safe. The crowd near the fudge shop had turned into a mob. No, not a mob. A swarm. And they were moving weird. Jerky. Too fast and too slow at the same time, like footage played at the wrong speed. "Dad." Tommy's voice had gone small. "Those people look sick." He wasn't wrong. Even from up here, you could tell something was off about them. The way they moved, the way they grabbed at the people running, the way they... One of them caught a woman in a yellow sundress. She went down screaming. 3 more piled on top of her. When they pulled back, she wasn't screaming anymore. And then she stood up. "Jesus Christ," I whispered. "Dad, what's happening?" "I don't know." My hands were shaking on the safety bar. "I don't." The wheel lurched forward again, descending, getting closer to whatever the hell was happening down there. I could hear it now over the carnival music. Screaming, metal scraping, that weird wet tearing sound that shouldn't exist outside of a slaughterhouse. The kid operator had abandoned his post, running toward the parking lot. Smart kid. "Dad." Tommy was pointing straight down. The swarm, because that's what it was, a goddamn swarm, had reached the base of the Ferris wheel. They were piling against the platform where you boarded, climbing over each other, reaching up. There were maybe 20 of them, 30, more coming. Their faces, God, their faces. The wheel shuddered to a halt. We were at the 5 o'clock position now, maybe 15 feet from the platform. Close enough to see everything. Close enough to see the blood on their hands and mouths. The way their eyes had gone milky white. The way they moved like they were being yanked forward by invisible strings. One of them, used to be a guy in a Phillies cap and cargo shorts, grabbed the Ferris wheel's support beam and started pulling himself up. Then another. Then 5 more. "Dad, they're climbing." The wheel groaned, swayed. These things aren't built for that kind of stress, for that much weight concentrated in one spot. I could hear the metal complaining, feel the whole structure tilting slightly forward. "Okay." My voice sounded steadier than I felt. "Okay, Tommy, listen to me. We're going to be fine. This thing is solid. It's been here for decades. They can't." The wheel lurched forward another 6 feet. We dropped fast enough that my stomach jumped into my throat. Tommy screamed. We stopped at the 4 o'clock position, closer to the grasping hands below. Closer to them. The safety bar bit into my thighs as we swung forward. I grabbed Tommy, pulled him away from the bars. "Don't look down. Look at me. Look at Dad." But I was looking down. Couldn't help it. More of them were coming, dozens now, streaming onto the pier from the boardwalk, drawn by the movement, the noise, us, the living buffet trapped in a cage. One of them, woman in a Tropicana staff uniform, name tag still pinned to her chest, grabbed the bottom of our car and pulled. The cage rocked sickeningly. Tommy's fingernails dug into my arm. "Dad, make it stop. Make them stop." "I'm trying." But I wasn't. I was frozen. 42 years old, 215 pounds, can split a cord of wood in under an hour, and I was frozen like a scared kid. The wheel groaned again, didn't move. The motor was either dead or the operator's absence meant no one was running the controls. We were stuck, 15 feet off the ground with a horde of whatever they were directly below us, piling higher and higher in a pyramid of reaching hands and gnashing teeth. The cage shook as more of them grabbed on. The whole Ferris wheel was tilting now, pulled forward by their weight. I could hear the support cables singing under the strain. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. Had to be Jerry. Had to be about Monday's shift. Priorities, right? The world's ending and I'm worried about shift coverage. "Tommy." I grabbed his shoulders, made him look at me. "We're going to be okay. Promise. Your dad's got this." I was lying through my teeth and we both knew it. The first thing you learn working in a lumberyard is how to read stress. Not the psychological kind, though Jerry's been on my ass about that too, says I should take more breaks, stop pulling doubles, but the physical kind. How weight distributes, where tension builds, what snaps and what bends. The Ferris wheel was bending. Not much, maybe 3, 4 degrees forward. But enough. Enough that our cage was swinging closer to that writhing mass below with every passing second. Enough that I could smell them now. Sweet and rotten at the same time, like meat left too long in a hot car. Enough that Tommy had stopped asking questions and started just holding on. His face pressed against my chest, both of us pretending he wasn't 11 and too old for this. I counted 17 of them actively climbing the wheel structure. More milling below. Some of them fresh, you could tell by how fast they moved, how their clothes were still mostly clean. Others looked like they'd been at it longer. Shirts torn, skin gray. One guy was missing his entire lower jaw but still trying to bite at the air, making this horrible clicking sound with what was left of his teeth. Why aren't they leaving? Tommy's voice was muffled against my jacket. Why don't they just go away? Don't know, buddy. I was watching the pyramid of bodies growing higher below us. They were smart enough or driven enough to climb on top of each other. Another few minutes and they'd be able to reach our cage. Maybe they'll get bored. Maybe. The wheel groaned again, tilted another degree. Our cage swung forward hard enough that Tommy yelped and I had to grab the bars to keep from sliding. The safety bar was doing jack shit. These things are designed to keep you in during normal operation, not during whatever the hell this was. My phone rang. Not buzzed. Full ringtone. Don't stop believin'. Tommy said it last time he played with my phone. Thought it was hilarious. Normally I'd change it, but I never got around to it. The story of my life, really. Never getting around to things. I fumbled it out. Jerry's name on the screen. Of course. The lumberyard was probably locked down tight and he was calling to make sure I'd be there Monday. Classic Jerry. Yeah. I tucked the phone between my ear and shoulder, keeping both hands free. Rob, where are you? Jerry sounded wrong. Breathless. Scared. Jerry's never scared. Guy served 3 tours in Afghanistan, came back and started selling 2x4s like nothing happened. Steel Pier, Atlantic City. Why? Jesus Christ, Rob. Get out of there. They're saying on the news. They're saying don't go to the boardwalks, don't go to crowded places. There's some kind of... The call dropped. Not ended. Dropped. The screen showed no signal. Great. Was that work? Tommy had pulled back enough to look at me. His eyes were red but dry. Stubborn kid. Got that from his mother. Yeah. Jerry says hi. You're lying. Little bit, yeah. Below us, the clicking jaw guy had made it halfway up the support beam. He was pulling himself hand over hand. No regard for the 40-foot drop below him. No fear. No self-preservation. Just hunger. You could see it in the way he kept looking up at us. The way his remaining eye tracked our movement. Something shifted in the crowd below. A ripple, like when wind hits a wheat field. They all turned at once, looked toward the boardwalk. For a second I thought maybe they were leaving. Maybe something else had caught their attention. Then I saw what they were looking at. A man was running toward us. Not one of them. Running away from them. He was maybe 50, overweight, wearing a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt and clutching a bright blue fanny packed to his chest like it contained the secrets of the universe. Behind him, 2 more of those things were chasing, gaining ground with every step. Come on, I muttered. Come on, run. He didn't make it. They caught him 10 feet from the Ferris wheel platform. He went down hard, face first into the wooden boards. The fanny pack went flying, landed near our operator's abandoned post. Change spilled out. Quarters, tokens, a car key fob with a Patriots logo on it. The man tried to scream, but one of them had its hands around his throat. Then the others noticed, peeled off from our Ferris wheel and swarmed him instead. Don't look, Tommy. But I was looking. Couldn't help it. This is what we'd become, apparently. Spectators to our own extinction. The feeding, because that's what it was, no point pretending otherwise, didn't last long. Maybe 30 seconds. When they pulled back, the man wasn't moving. Wasn't anything anymore, really, just meat. Then he stood up. "Dad." Tommy's voice cracked. "Dad, that's not possible. That's not." "I know." The newly dead man turned and looked right at us. His Hard Rock Cafe shirt was shredded down the front, exposing the chest cavity they'd opened up. Should have been fatal. Was fatal. Except he was standing there, swaying slightly, head tilted like he was listening to something we couldn't hear. Then he started climbing. He was faster than the others, fresher, still had all his fingers and most of his coordination. He grabbed the support beam and started hauling himself up with the kind of determination I usually reserve for finding my other work boot at 5 in the morning. "We need to do something." Tommy was looking around the cage like maybe there was a weapon hidden somewhere. What do we need to do?" "Good question." The cage was 6 feet by 4 feet.
Bare metal.
No loose bars. No convenient weapons. Just us, the safety bar, and 40 feet of air between us and the ground. Or 15 feet between us and the teeth. I started checking every weld, every joint, looking for weakness, anything we could use. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, partly from fear, but from adrenaline. From the same thing that makes you able to lift a car off someone in an emergency. The body's last-ditch effort to survive. There. The corner panel. 3 of the 4 bolts were tight, but the 4th had rust around it. Old rust. The kind that eats through metal from the inside. I grabbed it with both hands and pulled. Nothing. Pulled harder. The bolt shifted. Half an inch. Then an inch. "What are you doing?" Tommy moved closer, watching. "Being stupid, probably." I braced my foot against the bars and pulled with my whole body. The bolt groaned, shifted. My hands were slipping, palms already raw. "Come on, you piece of..." Came loose with a sharp crack. The corner panel sagged, held by 3 bolts now instead of 4. One more and we'd have a loose section. For what? I wasn't sure, but it was something. Better than sitting here waiting. Below us, Hard Rock Cafe guy had made it to the support beam's midpoint. 20 feet below us now. His eyes, milky white, same as the others, locked onto me, onto Tommy, and he climbed faster. The wheel tilted another degree forward. The cables were screaming now, a high-pitched whine that made my teeth ache. How much stress could they take? How much weight? I'd never thought about it before. Never had to. Now I was running calculations in my head, the wheel's diameter, the number of cars, the weight distribution, the uneven load from all those bodies on one side, and coming up with answers I didn't like. "Tommy," I grabbed the 2nd bolt. "I need you to help me. Can you do that?" He nodded, moved in next to me without hesitation. Good kid. Better than I deserved. On 3. 1, 2, 3. We pulled together. This bolt was newer, tighter. Wasn't budging. My shoulders were burning, old injuries from the lumberyard flaring up. The bolt turned a 1/4 inch. Another 1/4. Then, the wheel lurched forward again. We dropped 6 feet in half a second. Fast enough that my stomach hit my throat. Fast enough that Tommy screamed. Fast enough that I thought, this is it. This is how we die. In a rusted carnival ride with $50 in ride tickets still in my wallet and an 11-year-old who deserves better than this. We stopped swinging at the 3 o'clock position. 10 feet above the platform now. Close enough that I could see individual teeth in their open mouths. Close enough that when one of them jumped, its fingers brushed the bottom of our cage. Tommy was making a sound. Not quite crying. Not quite screaming. Something in between. The sound a kid makes when they're trying very hard to be brave and failing. "Hey!" I grabbed his face with both hands, made him look at me. "Hey, you remember that time we went fishing at Lake Hapatcong? And you fell in? Dad, now's not. And you panicked, started flailing around. Remember what I told you?" He took a shaky breath. Stop fighting the water. Right? Stop fighting. I let go of his face. We're going to stop fighting. We're going to think. Your dad's good at thinking. Usually, when I'm not being an idiot. That got a tiny smile. Small victory. Okay, think. The wheel was tilting forward because of their weight. If we could redistribute that weight, but we couldn't. We were stuck up here. If we could break the cage open, but then what? We'd fall into them. If we could call for help. But my phone was dead. No signal, and even if I got through, who was coming? The cops? The military? Santa Claus? Hard Rock Cafe guy was 15 feet below us now. His hands were bleeding from the climb, but he didn't seem to notice. Didn't seem to feel it. Just kept pulling himself up, rung by rung, hand over hand. The bolt. Focus on the bolt. I grabbed it again. Tommy. One more time. Together. He moved in. We pulled. This time it gave. Screaming metal. The panel sagged completely free at one corner. One more bolt and we'd have it loose. But Hard Rock Cafe guy was 10 feet away. And he was smiling. The third bolt wasn't coming out. I'd been pulling on it for 3 minutes. Felt like 3 hours, and the damn thing wouldn't budge. Different metal than the others, newer, probably installed during some maintenance check that the first 2 bolts missed. The cosmic joke of bureaucratic incompetence saving the day. We're ending it. Hard Rock Cafe guy. I couldn't stop thinking of him as that. Couldn't make him real enough to be a person with a name and a life and people who loved him. Was 6 feet below us now. Close enough that I could hear the wetness in his breathing. The rattle in his chest where his lungs used to be. The clicking sound his jaw made every time he opened his mouth. He stopped climbing. Just stopped. Hanging there on the support beam, both hands gripping tight, swaying slightly with the breeze coming off the Atlantic, looking up at us. And me, Tommy. Why'd he stop? Tommy whispered, like the thing could hear us. Maybe it could. I didn't know the rules anymore. Didn't know if there were rules. Don't know. I kept pulling at the bolt. My palms were bleeding now, skin torn open where the rusted metal had chewed through. Probably going to need a tetanus shot. Assuming tetanus mattered anymore. Assuming anything mattered anymore. The creature cocked its head, bird-like, curious. Then it reached up, not toward us but toward the cage itself. Grabbed one of the bottom bars. Pulled. The cage shook. Swung. Tommy grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise. Dad. I got you. I got you. But I didn't. I had nothing. Just bleeding hands and a stuck bolt and a kid who trusted me to fix this. Below us, the others had noticed Hard Rock's pause. They stopped their climbing, their reaching, their constant motion. All of them, just standing there, watching, waiting. It's like they're learning, I said. Didn't mean to say it out loud. Learning what? How to get to us. Shouldn't have said that either. Hard Rock pulled on the bar again. Harder. The cage shook more violently. I heard a grinding sound from above, the mechanism that connected our car to the wheel's central hub. Metal on metal. Stress points finding stress points. Stop it! Tommy was yelling now, leaning over the edge, looking down at the thing. Stop it! Leave us alone! It looked at him, made eye contact. Could you call it that when the eyes were dead white and empty? And pulled again. The bar bent. Not much, maybe half an inch, but it bent. These things are rated for 600 pounds of force, meant to keep drunk college kids from doing something stupid. They're not meant to handle sustained pulling from something that doesn't care about broken hands or torn muscles. Okay. My voice sounded strange. Calm. The kind of calm that comes right before you do something incredibly stupid. Okay, new plan. What plan? You're going to hate it. I didn't wait for him to respond. Grabbed the loose corner panel, the one with 2 bolts missing, and yanked it hard. It bent further out, creating a gap. Maybe 8 inches. Too small for either of us to fit through, but big enough to... Dad, what are you doing? I grabbed Tommy's backpack. The one Linda bought him last month with the Batman logo on it. Way too expensive, but Tommy loved it. Wore it everywhere. Dumped the contents out. Juice box. Granola bar. Some kind of trading cards I didn't recognize. A phone he wasn't supposed to have. Hey! He reached for it. That's mine. Need it more than you do right now. I grabbed one of the backpack straps. Tested its strength. Nylon. Thick. Probably rated for 30 pounds of textbooks and teenage angst. Might hold. Might not. Hard rock pulled on the bar again. Another inch of bend. Another chorus of grinding metal from above. I looped the strap through the gap in the panel, then around my wrist. 3 wraps. Tight. Cutting off circulation. If this worked, and that was a big if, I'd have maybe 2 minutes before my hand went completely numb. What are you doing? Tommy grabbed my arm. Dad, seriously, what are you? I'm going to kick him. What? That thing down there. I'm going to lean out and kick him off the support beam. Tommy stared at me, blinked. That's the stupidest thing you've ever said. Yeah. I tested the strap again. Pulled hard. The panel groaned but held. Probably. You got a better idea. He didn't. Neither did I, really. But hard rock was pulling again, and the bar was bending further, and that grinding sound from above was getting louder, and we were running out of time and options. I looped my other arm around one of the cage's vertical supports. Tested my grip. Tested the strap. Looked at Tommy. If I fall, don't. Take my phone. Try to call Mom. Or 911. Or anyone. Tell them. Tell them what? That their dad died because he was too stupid to stay off carnival rides? That they should close the boardwalks? That the world ended while they were eating lunch? Tell them I love you. Tell them it wasn't your fault. Dad, don't. But I was already leaning out. The thing about height is it's worse when you're moving toward it. Sitting in the cage, I could almost pretend we were safe, stable, but leaning out, feeling the wind hit my face, seeing how far down it was, 40 feet of nothing between me and those grasping hands below. My body remembered every bad decision I'd ever made, every close call at the lumberyard, that time I fell off the roof, the broken ribs, my left wrist throbbing. The strap bit into my arm. The panel groaned. Tommy grabbed my leg like he could hold me in place through sheer willpower. Hard rock was 4 feet below me, close enough that I could see the bite marks on his face, the way his skull was visible through the torn scalp, the fact that his Hard Rock Cafe shirt had a little guitar embroidered above the logo. A nice touch, probably cost extra. He looked up at me, smiled, actually smiled, with teeth that shouldn't work anymore and a jaw that hung at the wrong angle. I kicked him in the face. Connected solid. My work boot, steel-toed Red Wings, best money I ever spent, hit him square in the temple. His head snapped back. His grip loosened. For a second I thought it worked, thought he was gonna fall, thought. He grabbed my boot. His hand closed around my ankle like a vice. Cold. So cold. Like touching meat straight from the freezer. He pulled. Not trying to climb. Trying to drag me down with him. Dad! The strap was slipping. The panel was pulling loose. I could feel bolts giving way, metal screaming. I kicked with my other foot. Hit his shoulder. His chest. His face again. He didn't let go. Didn't react, just kept pulling with that impossible strength, grinning up at me with his broken jaw. My arm was screaming. The strap had cut through skin. I could feel blood running down to my elbow. The panel was bent almost double now. One more pull and it would tear free completely. Let go. I was screaming. Didn't matter. Let go of me. Tommy was leaning over the edge now, grabbing my belt, trying to pull me back. Dad, Dad. Hard Rock's grip shifted, moved higher, to my calf now, pulling himself up using me as a rope. His face was getting closer, close enough that I could smell him, rot and seawater and something chemical like formaldehyde. His mouth was opening, those teeth getting closer, closer. I did the only thing I could think of. I stopped pulling away and pushed toward him. Grabbed the support beam with my free hand and swung my whole body toward him like I was doing the world's worst pull-up. Momentum carried me forward, carried him backward. For a second we were face to face, so close I could see my reflection in those milky eyes. Then I grabbed his hand, the one holding my leg, and twisted, hard, the way Jerry showed me to break a grip when some drunk got handsy at the lumberyard Christmas party. Pressure points, leverage, physics. His hand came loose. He fell backward, still gripping the support beam with his other hand but off balance now, swinging out over the 40-foot drop. I kicked again, harder, using all the panic and rage and fear that had been building for the last 10 minutes. My boot connected with his chest. Felt something crack. Not bone. Something else. Something that used to be important. He fell. Didn't scream. Didn't make a sound. Just fell, silent and somehow graceful, arms spread wide like he was flying. Hit the platform with a wet thud I felt in my teeth. The others below swarmed him immediately, not helping, just curious, prodding, like they were checking if he still worked. I pulled myself back into the cage. Tommy grabbed me, held on so tight I couldn't breathe. My arm was on fire. The strap had cut deep. I could see white tissue under the blood. Probably needed stitches. Probably needed a lot of things. "Are you okay?" Tommy's voice was high, cracking. "Dad, are you?" "I'm okay." I wasn't. My whole body was shaking. Adrenaline dump.
"Shock?"
Terror delayed.
"I'm okay."
Below us, Hard Rock stood up again. Of course he did. Looked up at us, tilted his head, started climbing again. "Fuck," I whispered. "Fuck, fuck, fuck." "Dad." Tommy's voice had changed, gone quiet, focused. "Dad, look." He was pointing toward the boardwalk, not at the horde below us, at something beyond it. Smoke. Black smoke, thick and oily, rising from the direction of the casinos. Multiple columns. Then I heard it, distant but getting closer. Automatic gunfire. Not the careful, controlled shots you hear at a range. Panic fire. Sustained. Desperate. "Someone's fighting back," Tommy said. "Yeah." I wrapped my bleeding arm against my chest. "Or dying. Hard to tell the difference." The wheel tilted another degree. More cables snapping somewhere above us. We were running out of time. Hard Rock was 10 feet below again, climbing faster this time, learning from his mistake, not reaching for the cage, just climbing, faster, faster. And behind him, the others had started moving toward the platform again, toward the wheel, toward the support beams. All of them. "Tommy." I grabbed the backpack strap, still looped through the panel gap, still attached to my torn-up arm. "I need you to listen very carefully." "Dad, what are you?" "When I say go, you're going to climb out through this gap."
"No."
"You're going to climb up, to the top of our cage, then to the next cage, then the next. You're going to climb until you get to the top of the wheel. Understand? I'm not leaving you. You're not." I grabbed his shoulder, made him look at me. "I'm right behind you, but you go first. You're smaller, faster. You go first and you don't look back." "Dad." "Tommy." My voice cracked. "Please." He looked at me for a long time. Too long. Hard Rock was 5 feet away now. "Okay," Tommy whispered. "Okay." I started pulling on the third bolt again. This time it moved. The bolt came free with a sharp crack that echoed across the pier. The panel sagged completely open, leaving a gap just wide enough for Tommy to squeeze through. Maybe 2 feet across, maybe less. From up here, the drop looked infinite. "You sure about this?" Tommy's voice was shaking. Hell, everything was shaking. Him, me, the whole damn wheel. "Nope." That got a smile. Small and scared, but real. "But we're doing it anyway." I tested the gap, made sure the remaining bolt would hold. 3 points of contact at all times, like rock climbing. Remember when Uncle Rick took you to that gym? That was inside, with pads. Yeah, well, this is outside, with zombies. Wrong thing to say. Saw it in his face immediately. The word made it real. Made this whole impossible nightmare something with a name. Something from movies and video games and late-night TV we weren't supposed to watch. "They're not," Tommy started. "I know, but we need to move." Hard Rock was 3 feet below us. Close enough that I could hear his fingers scraping against metal. Close enough that his smell, sweet rot and ocean salt, was making my eyes water. "Go. Now." Tommy didn't argue this time. Grabbed the edge of the gap and pulled himself through. For a second he was half in, half out, legs kicking in empty air. Then he got purchase on the outside of the cage. Started climbing. Kid was a natural. Better than me. Better than I ever was at his age. He moved up the outside of the cage like he'd been doing it his whole life, finding handholds in the metal framework, testing each grip before committing his weight. I waited until he reached the top of our cage, where it connected to the wheel's central hub before following. Had to. If I went first and the cage gave way from my weight, Tommy would fall. This way, at least he had a chance. Pulling myself through the gap with one arm half useless was harder than I expected. The backpack strap had done damage. The whole arm was numb from elbow to fingertips now. Blood loss or nerve damage or both. I got my head and shoulders through, then had to drag the rest of me using just my legs and good arm. My boot caught on something. One of the bars. Kicked, pulled, and Hard Rock's hand grabbed my ankle. Again. Same grip. Same impossible cold. Except this time I was halfway out of the cage with nothing to brace against. Nothing to kick with. He pulled and I slid backward, stomach scraping against the gap's metal edge, peeling skin off. "Dad!" Tommy was above me, reaching down, but he was too far. 10 feet up the cage framework. Might as well have been a mile. I grabbed the panel edge with my good hand. Held on. Felt Hard Rock pulling harder. Felt my grip slipping on the blood-slick metal. Felt my fingers starting to slide. Then I remembered the bolt. The third bolt. Still in my pocket. I let go with my good hand. Stupidest thing I'd done all day, and that's saying something, and fumbled for my pocket. Fingers shaking. Hard Rock pulling harder. My body sliding back into the cage inch by inch. Got it. Heavy. Cold. Sharp threads where it had twisted free. I twisted around as much as I could. Saw Hard Rock below me. His face pressed against the bottom of the cage. Mouth open, trying to bite through the metal bars to get to my leg. Determined bastard. Had to give him that. I brought the bolt down hard. Aimed for his eye. Missed. Hit his cheek instead. Punched clean through. The bolt went in 3 inches, met resistance, skull probably, and stuck there. Hard Rock didn't even blink with his remaining eye. Just kept holding on. Kept pulling. Kept trying to eat me through solid steel. I pulled the bolt out. Skin and tissue came with it. Tried again. This time I got the eye socket. Went in deep. Twisted. His grip loosened. Not much. Just enough. I yanked my leg free and pulled myself through the gap, kicking backward as hard as I could. Felt my boot connect with something soft. Heard a wet cracking sound. Then I was out, clinging to the outside of the cage like a spider, both arms around the framework, legs wrapped around the vertical support. 40 feet of nothing below me, the boardwalk spinning slowly as the wheel swayed. Dad! Tommy was climbing down toward me now. Don't move, I'm coming. Stay there, I'm coming to you. I started climbing, harder than it looked from inside the cage. The framework was wet. Ocean spray, I thought at first, then realized it was blood.
Mine.
From my arm, running down the metal, making everything slippery. Below us, hard rock had given up on our cage and started climbing the outside framework. Faster now, learning, always learning. And behind him, 3 more had started up, then 5, then a dozen. They were swarming the wheel now, all of them, maybe 50 infected, climbing the support beams, the framework, the cages themselves. Their combined weight was pulling the whole structure forward. I could hear cables snapping above us, feel the wheel tilting further, further. We had maybe 2 minutes before the whole thing came down. Tommy, go up, top of the wheel, go. He went. Kid was scared out of his mind, but he climbed like his life depended on it. Because it did. Hand over hand, testing each grip, moving fast but careful. I followed as best I could with one arm barely working and blood making everything slick. We passed the next cage up, empty, thank God, and kept going. The wheel's tilt was getting worse. We were climbing at an angle now, leaning forward, gravity trying to pull us off. My good arm was burning, muscles screaming. The lumberyard keeps you in shape, but it doesn't prepare you for climbing carnival equipment while zombies chase you. Tommy reached the 10 o'clock position, 2 cages below the top. The wheel's highest point still 5 cars away. He stopped, breathing hard, looking down at me. Keep going, I yelled. You're not going to make it. I'll make it. I wouldn't. Knew it. He knew it. My arm was giving out. The numbness had spread to my shoulder now. I was climbing one-handed, using my legs for most of the work, and my legs were shaking so hard I could barely keep my feet planted. Below us, hard rock had reached our abandoned cage. He pulled himself up onto the roof of it, stood there, looked up at us. Then he jumped. Not far, 3 feet maybe, but enough to grab the framework of the next cage up. He started climbing again, and the others were following, jumping, climbing, coordinating. They were pack hunting, learning from each other, adapting. The wheel tilted further, 10 degrees now, 15, more cables snapping. The grinding sound from the central hub had become a continuous shriek. Tommy! I grabbed the next handhold, pulled. My arm wouldn't cooperate, wouldn't lift my weight. I hung there one-armed, feet dangling. Tommy, when I say go, you jump. What? Next cage over, the one that's level with you. You jump to it. I can't. You can. You have to. The wheel tilted more, 20 degrees. The next cage, one of the ones not on our side, not weighed down by the climbing horde, swung into view. Close, maybe 6 feet from Tommy's position. A gap that would be easy to cross on the ground. Impossible 40 feet in the air. Dad, I'm scared. I know. Me too. I got my feet back on the framework. Started climbing again. Slower now. My arm was useless, just hanging there, still attached but not responding to any commands. But you're going to do it anyway, because you're Tommy Kowalski and Tommy Kowalski does hard things. Remember, it was something Linda used to say when Tommy was scared of the first day of school, when he didn't want to get his shots, when he had to visit Dad's crappy apartment after the divorce instead of staying in his nice room at Mom's place. Tommy Kowalski does hard things. Okay. His voice was small. Okay. Below us, hard rock was 2 cages away, climbing faster than before. His face, what was left of it, was tilted up, tracking Tommy's position. The bolt I'd shoved through his eye socket was still there, sticking out like a strange piercing. Didn't slow him down at all. The wheel tilted further, 25 degrees. The cage Tommy was on started to swing outward, away from the others. The gap got bigger, 8 feet now, 10. Now, Tommy, jump now while it's close. I can't see. Don't think, just jump. He jumped. For a second he was in the air, arms windmilling, legs kicking at nothing. The wind off the Atlantic caught him, pushed him sideways. He was going to miss, going to fall 40 feet into the arms of that writhing mass below. His hand caught the edge of the other cage's roof. One hand, fingers slipping, legs dangling. Pull up, Tommy, pull. He pulled, got his other hand on the edge, pulled harder, got his elbows up, then his chest. Then he was rolling onto the roof, safe, gasping. Good job. I was climbing faster now, ignoring the pain, the blood, the useless arm, just moving. Stay there. I'm coming. But I wasn't. The gap was widening. The wheel was tilting more. My cage, the one I was climbing, was heading down. Tommy's was heading up. The physics of the situation were working against us. We were on opposite sides of the wheel now, moving in opposite directions. Dad, it's okay. It's okay. It wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. Just stay there. I'll come around. I kept climbing, reached the top of my cage. The wheel's hub was right above me now. A massive cylinder of bolts and gears and stress fractures that shouldn't exist. The whole thing was coming apart. I could see it happening in real time. Metal pulling away from metal. Welds breaking. The wheel was dying and we were dying with it. Hard Rock pulled himself onto my cage roof, 10 feet below me, close enough that I could hear the clicking in his throat, close enough to see that he'd lost an ear somewhere during the climb. Just a hole now, dark and empty. I grabbed the hub mechanism, started pulling myself around it, hand over hand. The metal was hot, friction from the dying wheel, and slick with oil. My good hand slipped, caught, slipped again. Below me, Hard Rock started climbing the hub too. Following, always following. Dad, behind you. I looked back. Another one had reached the hub from the other side. Woman in a Borgata dealer uniform, name tag that said Diane. She still had her card dealing stance, fingers moving in practice patterns even as she climbed. Muscle memory outlasting death. I was trapped between them. Hard Rock below, Diane above, 40 feet of air on all sides. The wheel tilted 30 degrees, cables snapping like gunshots. Any second now the whole thing was coming down. Tommy was screaming something, couldn't hear over the wind and the grinding metal and my own heartbeat in my ears. He was pointing, not at me, at something beyond me. I looked. The next section of cages over, the ones that had been swinging up while ours went down, were level with me now, maybe 4 feet away, close enough to reach if I jumped, if my legs worked, if I had 2 good arms, if I wasn't about to pass out from blood loss. Diane grabbed my boot. No hesitation this time. I kicked her in the face. Her nose broke with a wet crunch. She didn't let go. I kicked again. Her jaw came loose, hanging by strips of dried tendon. She still didn't let go. So I jumped, pushed off the hub with my good leg, let go with my good hand, threw myself into space. For feet, might as well have been 4 miles. Time did that thing where it stretches out. I could see every detail. The rust on the cage I was jumping for. The screaming people below. Tommy's face white with terror. The Atlantic beyond, gray and endless. My chest hit the cage roof, hard, knocked the wind out of me. My good hand scrabbled for purchase, found a seam where 2 panels joined, held on. My legs were hanging over the edge, dangling, I tried to pull up, but my arm was gone, just dead weight, and my good arm was shaking, giving out. Then Tommy was there, leaning over the edge of his cage, reaching across the gap. Had to be 6 feet now, the wheel still turning, grabbing my jacket with both hands. I got you, Dad. Pull. He pulled. 100-pound kid trying to lift 215 pounds of deadweight father. Shouldn't have worked. Physics said it wouldn't work. But Tommy Kowalski does hard things. I felt myself sliding up, inch by inch. My chest cleared the edge, then my waist. Then Tommy had his arms under my shoulders, pulling me all the way up onto the roof of his cage. We lay there for a second, both gasping, both shaking. The wheel was still tilting, still dying, but we were together. We have to go higher, I managed. Top of the wheel, before it falls. Can you climb? Have to. We climbed, together this time. Tommy helping me up when I slipped. Me checking his grips before he put weight on them. Hand over hand, cage by cage. The wheel was nearly vertical now, 45 degrees, maybe more. We were climbing sideways as much as up. Behind us, I could hear them following. Always following. Hard Rock and Diane and all the others. But they were slower now, climbing against gravity like we were. No advantage. We reached the top, the very top, the 12 o'clock position, the highest point on the wheel, 60 feet above the platform now, 90 feet above sea level, high enough that I could see the whole boardwalk burning, the whole city going to hell. There was a maintenance platform up here, barely bigger than a phone booth, built into the hub so workers could service the wheel. It had a railing, safety harnesses hanging on hooks, a toolbox welded to the deck. We pulled ourselves onto it, collapsed. Tommy immediately threw up over the side. I wanted to, but my body had nothing left to give. We made it, Tommy whispered. Dad, we made it. Yeah. I looked down, saw the horde still climbing, saw the wheel tilting more, heard another cable snap. For now. The wheel shuddered, tilted further, 50 degrees, 60. It was coming down. The whole massive structure, tons of steel and wire and rust, was falling, and we were at the very top. I grabbed Tommy, held him close. I love you. You know that, right? Dad, don't. I love you. I'm sorry I didn't say it more. I'm sorry about the divorce and the missed weekends and being too tired to. The wheel's center hub broke free from its base with a sound like the world ending. We fell. Here's what they don't tell you about falling. It's quieter than you think. All those movies where people scream the whole way down, they're wrong. You don't scream. You don't have time. Your brain just goes silent, accepting what's happening, trying to figure out if there's any possible way to survive this. There isn't. The Ferris wheel was falling forward, not straight down but in a slow rotation, the hub we were clinging to tracing an arc through the air. 60 feet up, 50, 40. Below us, the platform was rushing up fast, covered in reaching hands and gnashing teeth. They'd won. They'd pulled us down. Evolution adapting in real time. Tommy's hand was in mine, his other hand wrapped around the maintenance platform railing. My useless arm flopping uselessly, both of us holding on because that's what you do. You hold on until the very end. 30 feet, 20. The wheel hit the pier at an angle. The hub, our hub, the section we were on, struck first. The impact was everything and nothing. A jolt that went through my bones and teeth and skull. The sound of metal tearing itself apart. The maintenance platform buckling but somehow not breaking completely. Then we were bouncing. The whole wheel structure ricocheting off the wooden pier, cables snapping, cages tearing free. I held on to Tommy and Tommy held on to me and the world spun in directions that shouldn't exist. We hit water. The Atlantic in October is 55 degrees. Cold enough to stop your heart if you're not ready for it. We weren't ready for anything. The water hit like a truck, knocked the air out of my lungs, dragged us down into black silence. Tommy's hand slipped out of mine. I grabbed for him, found nothing, grabbed again. Got his jacket, held on, kicked toward where I thought the surface was. We broke through, gasping, choking, alive somehow. The pier was 40 feet away, maybe 50. Hard to tell with the waves and the blood in my eyes. The wheel was half submerged, still groaning as it settled into the water. Bodies were everywhere, some thrashing in the surf, others just floating face down. Couldn't tell which ones were infected and which ones weren't. Didn't matter. We had to get away from all of them. Swim! I grabbed Tommy's collar. Toward the beach. Go! We swam. I mostly just kicked, using my good arm to keep Tommy's head above water. The current was pulling us parallel to the shore, away from the pier. Good. Further from them. My boots were filling with water, dragging me down. I kicked them off, felt them fall away into the deep. Red Wings, $200, gone. Linda's voice in my head. You never take care of anything. Tommy was crying and swimming at the same time. Doing pretty good, actually. Better than me. My arm was completely useless now and the blood loss was catching up. I was getting cold. Too cold. The kind of cold that makes you want to sleep. Dad! Tommy grabbed my jacket. Dad, stay awake.
Awake.
You're not. Dad. Something hit my leg. I jerked, looked down, saw a body floating past. Woman in a wetsuit, surfer maybe, dead for sure. Her eyes were open underwater, milky white, looking right at me. Then she grabbed my leg. I kicked. She held on, pulled me under. The water closed over my head. I could see her down there, face distorted by the murk, mouth opening and closing, trying to bite through the water itself.
Tommy dove?
Skinny 11-year-old kid in a Batman backpack. No, the backpack was gone now, left in the cage, just diving down into the Atlantic in October. He kicked the surfer woman in the head. Once, twice. She let go of me and grabbed for him. I grabbed her instead, got my good arm around her neck, squeezed. Didn't matter that she was dead, that she didn't need to breathe. I squeezed anyway, pulling her away from Tommy, giving him time to surface. She twisted in my grip, bit into my forearm. I felt her teeth grind against bone. I let her go, kicked away, surfaced gasping. Tommy grabbed me. Dad, your arm. Doesn't matter, except it did. New blood was flowing into the water, dark and fast, probably an artery, probably fatal. Swim, beach, now. We swam. The shore was getting closer, maybe 20 feet, but I was slowing down, getting heavier. The cold was inside me now, in my bones, in my brain, making everything fuzzy. Tommy, my voice sounded far away. You have to let go.
No.
You can't carry me. You'll drown. I don't care.
Ido.
I tried to push him away. Didn't have the strength. Go, please. No. Stubborn, just like his mother, just like me, stubborn right to the end. My feet touched bottom, sand, soft and shifting but solid. We were in the shallows, 4 feet of water. 3. Tommy got his feet under him too, pulled me forward. We stumbled through the surf together, falling more than walking, until we collapsed on the beach. I lay there looking up at the sky, gray clouds, a seagull, something burning in the distance turning the clouds orange. Pretty in a terrible way. Dad! Tommy's face appeared above me. Dad, don't close your eyes. You have to stay awake. Just for a minute.
No.
Dad! Footsteps. Running. People. Live people, I hoped. Couldn't tell anymore. Didn't care. My arm was on fire. My chest was cold. Everything was wrong, but at least Tommy was safe. At least I did that right. Kids in shock. Bite on his arm, it's deep. Losing too much blood. Evacuation point 2 blocks. Voices. Too many voices. Hands lifting me. Tommy screaming about something. The sky spinning above me. Then nothing. I woke up in a FEMA tent. Took me a minute to figure that out. White canvas walls. Military cots. The smell of disinfectant and diesel fuel. My arm was wrapped in so much gauze it looked like a mummy costume. And 4 dripped clear fluid into my other arm, the good one, the one that still worked. Tommy, my voice came out like gravel. Right here, Dad. He was sitting next to the cot, wrapped in one of those emergency blankets, the silver kind that make you look like a baked potato. Hair still wet, eyes red but dry, alive. You stayed. Where else would I go? Fair point. I tried to sit up, made it about 6 inches before a nurse appeared out of nowhere and pushed me back down. No, you don't. You lost 3 pints of blood and have a bite that needed 60 stitches. You're staying put. The bite. I looked at my arm. Am I infected? We don't know. She checked my 4. Whatever this thing is, it's not spreading through bites alone. We've had dozens of bite victims. Some turn, some don't. No pattern we can find. How long? Since the bite? For hours. If you haven't turned by now, you probably won't. She didn't sound convinced. But we're keeping you under observation. Protocol. For hours. Felt like 4 minutes. Like no time at all. The wheel. Destroyed. 23 dead. 6 missing, probably drowned. You 2 were the only ones who made it off the top. She looked at Tommy. Kid's a hero. Dragged you out of the surf by himself. Wouldn't let the medics touch you until they promised to keep you together. Tommy shrugged. Dad would have done the same. I would have, should have, did do, I guess. The nurse left. Tommy scooted his chair closer to the cot. We sat there for a while not saying anything. The tent walls glowed orange. Sunset maybe, or more fires. Hard to tell. They're evacuating the city, Tommy said eventually. Buses leaving every hour. Mom's on the list. Jerry called, he's got a spot for us in Pennsylvania. Some kind of safe zone. Jerry did. Said your family. Said family sticks together. Jerry said that. Jerry who chewed me out for taking 3 sick days last year. Jerry who served in Afghanistan and never talked about it. Jerry who just offered us a spot in whatever safe haven he'd found because that's what you do. Family sticks together. Your mom called too. 6 times. She's freaking out. She usually is. Tommy smiled, small and tired. She wants me to come to Philly. Says it's safer. Says I should. His voice cracked. Says I should stay with her. You should. What about you? I'll be fine. I'll go with Jerry. Get healed up. Figure things out. I grabbed his hand with my good one. You go be with your mom. She needs you more than I do. That's not true. It is. And it was. Linda was scared. Alone. Tommy needed to be there. I needed to let him go. Besides, you've saved my ass enough for one day. My turn to be the grown-up. He laughed, crying a little too, but laughing. You're terrible at being a grown-up. Yeah, I know. We sat there until the nurse came back and said the buses were loading. Tommy had to go. Had to get on the evacuation list before the spots filled up. Had to leave me here in this tent with my mummy arm and my 4 drip and my 60 stitches holding my life together. He hugged me, careful around the bandages. I love you, Dad. Love you too, kid. My voice broke. Tommy Kowalski does hard things, remember? Yeah, I remember. He left. I watched him go through the tent flap, wrapped in his emergency blanket, looking smaller than 11, looking like someone who'd just survived the end of the world. The nurse came back later, told me Jerry's transport was coming in the morning, told me to get some sleep, like that was possible, like I could sleep knowing Tommy was out there on a bus heading to Philly and Linda was waiting and the whole world had gone to shit. But I was tired, so tired, the kind of tired that lives in your bones. I closed my eyes, dreamed about Ferris wheels spinning in the dark, about Tommy laughing at the top, about the Atlantic in October, cold and endless and full of things that used to be human. When I woke up, my arm didn't hurt anymore. That should have been my first clue. But I was too busy thinking about breakfast, about the FEMA tent, about Jerry's transport, about how hungry I was.
So hungry.
End transmission. Emergency alert system, Atlantic City quarantine zone. Boardwalk evacuation 87% complete. Infection vector, still unknown. Bite transmission rate, 34%. Do not approach infected individuals. Do not assume you are safe. Trust no one.